So we're back here again playing with the Mighty Max. Montero still in the works. I know. Don't rush me. But what we are doing today with this, well, besides and all this mess, I need to clean it up, is we're actually going to be improving the durability of our transmission. Now, some people might ask, how do you do that? Do you change the internals? No. Unfortunately, anybody that has experience with these trucks, or actually the Mitsubishi Starion, I know uses a similar transmission. This is the KM145. This is the four-wheel drive transmission. The KM132 is the two-wheel drive, the rear-wheel drive, I should say, that comes in the other standard trucks, manual transmission trucks. The Dodge Ram 50, Mitsubishi Starion, Chrysler Conquest, whatever you want to call it, they use a similar transmission, slightly longer. Transmission or shifter points are in a different location. But like I said, this truck is the four-wheel drive, and how we will be improving it is that we will be installing this. And this is actually a pan that is ginormous compared to the factory one. This is the underbelly of the transmission. So what this pretty much does, takes the flimsy transmission piece, replaces it with this solid, I believe it's aluminum, solid aluminum piece. It's already got the threading right there, as you can see. Now I believe this, the guy that makes these, his name is Paul. I don't remember last name. Sorry, Paul, if you're watching this. I'm horrible with names. Probably should have looked it up. But he makes these. Normally, he will post it on the Facebook pages when he is coming out with another batch. But the reason that a lot of these transmissions fail is because this right here is the factory piece. Now, don't judge me, I had a big oil leak that I didn't know about. If you could see right there, you see how flimsy, how thin that metal is? Ignore the oil leak. So, this solid chunk of aluminum actually replaces this. And how that improves it is that it keeps it from twisting. So when you're under load, the transmission twists, and most of these will end up cracking along the side. And there went your transmission. Everything else inside of it goes boom, oil leaks out, go find another one. This, obviously, I would say probably at least 5 times thicker. I haven't measured it out, but it has been tested and proved to show that you could actually hold more power with it, because these transmissions, I believe, will only take about 300 on average. So I'm talking about average. I don't need people complaining. But on average, these transmissions will only take about 300 to 350 horsepower. Luckily, this isn't even close to that, but I want my engine to last. Now, besides the actual piece itself, on this kit, you get a cool little sticker. You'll get the seal for the bolt, thread locker, all the pieces you will be needing, all the hardware, nuts, bolts, washers, and you'll also get the gasket maker needed for it. Now, I know I have seen other oil pans or transmission pans. I believe MKS Motorsports makes them, which they specialize more in Starion, Conquest, StarQuest, whatever you want to call them. The one that the engine's going into that one. So I believe that they have it on their site also, but I do not know if it comes with all this extra hardware. I got lucky and I caught Paul, and he had mentioned that he would be making another batch. So I ordered one for him, or from him, I should say. So look him up right there. Tuffpans.com. www.tuffpans.com. So today that is what I am doing with this one. And obviously my main reason for it is I don't want it to break while I'm taking it off-road. The transmission is kind of a crucial piece. Yeah, don't need that breaking on me. As you can see, I started removing everything. Now, I originally had removed the center bolt, and not much came out, probably about a quart. And I believe this takes 4 or 5 quarts, something like that. So what I did, I loosened up all the bolts all around, but then I just pulled down this corner. So you could see the rest of the fluid is coming out of there, and I suggest you get a proper canister, and you could see all the fluid. Now what I had it in here, because this is a used transmission I had bought since my other one took a dump on me. This is actually from a Montero, like this one, but standard. Mine's automatic. And I have no idea what the mileage is, but so far so good. But what I was actually using was Royal Purple 7590 weight. And I guess after I did some research, a lot of people were saying, no, that's the wrong one. Because that is a GL4, GL5 blend. So similar to brake fluid. They got different ratings and all that. So, after checking and asking, this is what everybody suggests, or the majority of the people. Redline, MT90, the GL4. Now, there are some other GL4s out there. I know Royal Purple had theirs, and I believe Lucas has one. But yeah, see, 7590, proper weight. But the issue with those other ones is if you read the back, it says that it's for transmissions that are non-synchronized, and these transmissions have synchros, so it doesn't properly lubricate as well, at least as well as it should. Now this is, so far that I've seen, this MT90 from Redline is meant for the older the older synchronized transmissions that need the GL4 oil. See, Mitsubishi right there, Mazda. So for older vehicles, try and use this one. I bought a case of 12 on Amazon because I didn't know where else to get it. None of the local shops around here sold it. And because I will probably be using this for the diff and transaxles and all that. The transfer case, probably I'll be changing that one out because I also used the royal purple. But for now, for sure, since I will be swapping in the plate, this is what I will be using. I'll double check how many quarts I actually need. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty much ready to go. So let's pull it out. So before I throw the pan back on and fill everything with fluid, this is another issue I have had. When I got the transmission, it was for a Montero like mine. I don't know the actual gearing for it that it came for my friend's Montero. Thank you, Antonio, by the way. This transmission has been working good, if you're watching. But yeah, this is how this one is clocked right here. This is the speedometer gear. This is where the cable comes into the transmission. It goes round and round. That round and round goes to the dash, and that's how it calculates the speed for these older vehicles with the cable. So, from what I have hypothesized, because I haven't actually researched it, the Monteros come with 29 to 31 inch tire. So I'm assuming this is why it's clocked this way. And I actually have my old transmission speedometer cable here. And as you can see, that buildup right there. So logically the buildup is at the bottom. And that would mean it's for 28 to 20 or 26 to 28 inch tires. Hopefully by switching that over, I'll be able to fix my issue with the speedometer, because at 65 miles per hour it shows I'm going 55 on the dash. So on the highway I usually just go the flow of traffic, and I've tested it out because I use an app on my phone that uses a GPS for speedometer reading. So it's 10 miles per hour off at 55 on my truck when I'm actually going 65. Hopefully this fixes it. So right there, as you can see, damn phone keeps switching lenses. That shaft right here, that's where the gear connects to. And I just realized something when I took this off, is that you can't just twist it over, reclock it. And I mean, for some reason in my head that worked, but now that I actually see how it is, it makes more sense, because this one was like this, and looking at it straight on, as you can see, it's not perfectly centered. So from here to here, the distance is greater than from here to here. Now, this is my Mighty Max's original gear. So, this is how it's clocked on that other transmission, my old transmission before it got screwed up. And as you can see, it's slightly, the longer end is toward the bottom, so the top is short, which makes this gear perfect, because this is how it was. And bam, as you can see right there, you see, and the shaft moves up, so it needs a smaller gear. So all I got to do now is throw this one back in, and that should take care of my speedometer reading. But now I know that with this one, I should be able to run a larger tire and just swap this gear in place, and I'll still be able to maintain a good speedometer reading, which is pretty awesome because I'm hoping to run 33s, maybe 35s later on this Mighty Max. So this is what that will help me with. With this one, the tires on my Montero are actually the original ones from my Mighty Max, and I was running 31, or these are 31-inch tires. So any larger, I think I'm gonna have to swap to that. Bam, let's do it. Almost ready to mount. I actually already cut this open, ready to go. Do the gasket right there, but I wanted to show you guys the difference. Now this is, I don't even know, maybe 1/16 thickness, and it's just a piece of stamped steel. So this is all that was holding the transmission. Well, not really holding the transmission, but that's the plate at the lower end of the transmission, and this is why, if you're trying to get more power off the vehicles, or if you're doing a lot of off-roading in which your transmission gets a lot of torque put into it from the low gearing, because of this flexing and everything, because of how thin it is, that transmission casing breaks. It starts to crack, but with this, there should be no flexing. Now I already got the studs in there, and like I said, ready to put the gasket sealant. Studs are in there. I already put Loctite on all of them, as you can see. So before I install it, I will be cleaning the surface because there's still transmission fluid coming out. But it's pretty much good to go. So let's do this. And there you have it. It is installed. Now, obviously I haven't put the center bolt in. The instructions on the gasket maker thing said to let it cure for 24 hours. Luckily, I have my other car to drive, so I'm going to let it do that. Let it cure for 24 hours. Then put that center bolt in and refill the fluid. If you guys don't know, that bolt right here, that's the one you remove and you fill it up from this hole. Pretty much try and keep your vehicle on a level surface, and you pretty much just keep filling until it starts to pour fluid out of that hole. So the fluid capacity should still be the same, and I'll let you know how much that is once I actually fill it up. And then I'll get to test drive that gear again, make sure it's reading right. Besides that, everything else is good. Put everything away, wait till tomorrow. We are back here 24 hours later. Now after hopefully the gasket maker cured a little bit. And I put everything back in, as far as you can see. It's just that center bolt anyway. So for this, you actually just need I use 13 millimeter socket, 13 millimeter socket. This one's 24, and the one that goes on the side, which is this one, is 17 millimeter. So this is 17, 24, and 13s. Now to get the fluid into the transmission, if you've never done it before, you're gonna need this little pump thing. Unless you got another way of doing it. This has been the way that I've been doing for the differentials and transmissions. So this little pump sucks it from here, pushes it out into the transmission or differential or even transfer case, whichever one you're using it for. The only issue, apparently red line is special and it doesn't screw into place, so that kind of sucks. So I'm gonna have to hold it down while I press the pump. So I can't do this with one hand. Oh well. I'll let you know how many I use right now. Alright, we're at the point we want to be with this one. You see how some of the fluid is dripping out of the hole? That's pretty much that you're topped off right there. That's where you gotta be. Now I brought my truck down a little bit, try and level it out. I'm pretty sure there's still some of the royal purple in there, but the amount I had to use was about 2.5 of these empty 90 bottles. Each one is 1 quart. Says 946 milliliters. I'm looking at the one on the side. I'm cheating. But yeah, so about 2.5 of these. Right now it topped it off. When it was completely empty, when I first installed the transmission, it was about 3 something, a little over 3. So there's obviously a little, the royal purple still in there. But yeah, once you're at this point where it's starting to drip out, just throw the cap back on and test drive it. And she is good. Test drove it around real quick. And so far, so good. No leaks that I saw from the bottom. So I tightened everything right there. Everything's tight, sealed good. Speedometer gear works good. Everything's back to normal. I did check it using a GPS on the phone, so I couldn't record it. But there's various GPS speedometer apps out there, so if you guys want to check them out, do it. But yeah, on this one, next thing to do is, as you can see, spilling a lot of oil, but the gasket and the oil pan. So you guys keep on wrenching. Oh well, I'll go get the keys. But you guys keep on wrenching. Hopefully this baby will be up to my standards soon. I do still have to wire those things up, the gauges. They're in there, they're working. They're just not wired up. Keep on wrenching, guys.